Modern security networks project an illusion of complete safety. High-tech facilities are blanketed in thermal tracking and automated algorithms monitoring every inch. But this technology has two fatal flaws. Cameras have physical blind spots, where coverage simply drops out. And while a computer can easily detect motion or heat, it lacks the ability to interpret a subject's intent. That vacuum requires a specific human operator. It takes someone armed with practical curiosity, extreme focus, and the ability to stay completely calm when an emergency breaks out. Without a person to bridge the gap between a passive recording and an active interpretation, a multi-million-dollar camera network is functionally blind. Before analyzing human behavior, an operator maps the terrain using a site layout. This foundational tool matches exact camera ID numbers to physical locations, revealing both the reach of the cameras and the dark zones they miss. Knowing exactly where those blind spots are allows the operator to preemptively direct mobile security patrols to the areas the control center cannot see. Navigating this virtual geography requires sharp IT abilities and constant situational awareness. You have to learn the typical rhythm of the environment to instantly recognize when circumstances become highly abnormal. Mastering the facility's physical layout is the mandatory baseline. An operator must own the physical space before they can begin decoding the individual threats inside it. Once the environment is mapped, the focus shifts down to individual camera feeds. The operator's primary talent is recognizing visual anomalies within the environment. They apply a specific framework to do this. First, they examine the picture. Then they look for individuality, actively asking themselves if a particular object is missing or entirely out of place. Next comes concentration. They zoom in to eliminate the distance, assess whether the subject poses a direct safety risk, and finally, decide on an immediate course of action. Applying this rigid mental framework strips away distractions. It turns routine observation into active threat detection, converting raw footage into actionable intelligence. Pushing in closer on a single subject, the work becomes behavioral analysis. Physical posture broadcasts hidden intentions, and it is frequently used to conceal stolen items or weapons. This table breaks down key postural interpretations. The bottom row shows a suspicious subject with a rigid torso or strange clothing bulges. The aggressive category shows the body leaning forward, physically preparing for conflict. Lastly, nervous indicators include fidgeting, hair pulling, and rapid, jerky movements. Memorizing these specific physical tells allows a trained operator to read a subject's state of mind, predicting violence before a weapon is ever drawn. At the most intimate level of observation, operators track the duration of eye contact to uncover connections between seemingly random people. Eye contact between strangers is usually brief. Prolonged eye contact is a massive red flag, pointing toward covert cooperation or the active monitoring of a planned threat. Physical gestures also require careful translation. Pointing, clamping, or waving hands must be evaluated within the specific social and cultural environment of the facility to understand what they actually mean. Ultimately, these fleeting micro-interactions offer the final layers of context needed to fully assess a subject's overarching intent. This visualization maps out the variables of threat profiling. It catalogs a target's physical attributes, isolating their clothing, build, and cultural identifiers to build a complete profile against the backdrop of the wider facility. With a profile built, operators scan for hostile surveillance. This is the active, methodical monitoring of a target location well before an actual security breach takes place. Surveillance leaves a physical signature. Sometimes it is passive, like an individual waiting with no explanation, or a car driving past the same place repeatedly. Other times it is an active probe. Hostiles will take unauthorized photographs, deliberately trigger false alarms to test response times, or interrogate employees about security procedures. Recognizing these exact pre-breach signatures shifts the operator's function, moving beyond documentation to prioritize active preemption. Modern security infrastructure operates on a massive scale, yet it is bound by the limitations of passive, automated hardware. While the environment is visually dominated by banks of monitors, the work itself is a high-stakes exercise in behavioral analysis. The cameras themselves are merely passive lenses, feeding visual data into a much larger, more complex machine.